Now, Anand was the Karta of HF. He died leaving behind his son Major son Prem, his widow, his grandmother and brother's wife. Can the HF retain status as such or the serving persons would become co-owners? So, initially there were two male members. Who are they? Anand and his son Prem. And there were three female members. Anand's wife, the grandmother and brother's wife. Now, Anand has died. Now, who is the only major male member? This Prem alone, and there are three other female members. Now the question is, with just one male member and three other female members, can HF retain the status? Yes, it has been decided in the case law that even if there is one male member is there along with other female members, it is sufficient for an HF. The Supreme Court has made it clear that there need not be more than one male member to form a HF as a taxable entity under the Income Tax Act. The expression HF is used in the sense in which it is understood under the personal law of Hindus. So what has it told? Supreme Court has made it clear that there need not be more than one male member to form HF as a taxable entity. For a HF as a taxable entity, one male member is more than enough. The expression HF is used in the sense in which it is understood under the personal law of the Hindus. Under the Hindu system of law, a joint family may consist of a single male member, and the widows of the deceased male members and the Income Tax Act does not mandate that it should contain at least two male members. So, as per that, there can be only one male member. One male member is sufficient. There need not be two male members. So, what happened? A joint family may consist of a single male member, and the widows of the deceased male members and the Income Tax Act does not mandate that it should consist of at least two male members. Therefore, property of a joint Hindu family does not cease to belong to the family merely because the family is represented by single co-partner who possesses the right which an owner may possess. Therefore, HF would retain the status. Why? Initially, there were two male members and three female members. Now, the Karta has died. So, even though the Karta, who is a male member, has died, he is survived by his son, who is another male member. So, one male member along with the other female members is sufficient to retain the HF status. Therefore, the expression HF is used in the sense in which it is understood under the personal law. Under the Hindu system of law, joint family may consist of single male member, and the widows of the deceased male members and the Income Tax Act does not mandate that it should consist of at least two male members. So one male member is more than sufficient. So no need of two male members. The Income Tax Act has not mandated that there must be two male members. One male member along with the other female members is more than sufficient. Therefore, property of a joint Hindu family does not cease to belong to the family merely because family is represented by single co-partner who possess the right which an owner of property may possess. Therefore, HF would retain the status as such. Now, Mr. C borrowed a hundi on sum of 25,000 by way of bearer check on 11/9/17 and repaid the same with interest amounting to 30,000 by way of account pay check on 12/10/17. The assessing officer want to treat the amount borrowed as income during the year. Is the action valid in nature? So there are two transactions. Borrowing. So at the time of borrowing, how much is the money borrowed? 25,000. So 25,000 is a money borrowed on 11/9/17 and it is paid it is being borrowed by way of bearer check. So it is borrowed by way of bearer check. Now repaying is also happened. Repayment is 30,000. So the repayment 30,000, when is it being repaid? 12/10/17. 12/10/17 it is being repaid through what check? It is account pay check. So it has been repaid through account pay check. So borrowing is 25,000, 11/9/17, bearer check. Repayment 30,000, account pay check 12/10/17. So the assessing officer want to treat the amount borrowed as income during the previous year. So the assessing officer want to treat this 25,000 as income during the previous year 17/18. So is it valid in nature? So there are two transactions. The borrowal, it is happening through bearer check, repayment through account pay check. That is the first point. So it is the law insists that amount should be borrowed or repaid only through account pay check and not through bearer check. So this has also to be kept in mind. Now, what does section 69D provides? Where any amount is borrowed on a hundi or amount due thereon is repaid other than by way of account pay check drawn on a bank, the amount so borrowed or repaid shall be deemed to be the income of the person borrowing or repaying the amount for the previous year in which amount was borrowed or repaid as the case may be. Now, the borrowing is through a bearer check but repayment repayment through account paycheck. So what is it talking about? The amount is borrowed on a hundi or amount due thereon is repaid other than by way of account paycheck drawn on a bank. If that be the case, the amount which has been borrowed shall be deemed to be the income of the person. So here C has borrowed 25,000 on hundi by way of bearer check. It is not to be allowed. It should have been by account pay check only. Therefore, it shall be deemed to be the income of C for previous year 17-18. Since the repayment along with interest is made by account pay check, same would not be hit by the provision. Why? So this is well within the law. It is account pay check. 30,000 is account pay check, not at all a problem. But 25,000 is bearer check, which is the problem here. So the repayment is not at all problem because it is made through account pay check. Therefore, action of the assessing officer treating the amount borrowed as income is valid in law. Why? The amount has been borrowed on bearer check. So in this case, Mr. C has borrowed 25,000 on bearer check. Therefore, it shall be deemed to be the income of Mr. C. But the repayment is happening through account pay check. Therefore, account pay check is on the safer side. Now, the assessing officer found during the course of assessment of a firm that it had paid rent in respect of its business premises amounting to 60,000 which was not debited in the books of account for the year ending 31/3/18. So, there is a firm. Okay, so firm is paying rent. So, the rent is the expense of the firm. So, in its accounts, it has to maintain the details of rent. All those have to be maintained. So what is the rent paid? It is 60,000. It had paid rent in respect of the business premises amounting to 60,000 and it was not debited in the books of account for 31/3/18. The firm did not explain the source for payment of rent. That is why it is not maintaining proper books of account. It is not maintaining vouchers. It is not maintaining proper books of account. It is not even able to explain the source for this 60,000. The assessing officer proposes to make addition of 60,000 in the hands of the firm for the year 18-19 assessment year. The firm claims that even if the addition is made, 60,000 should be allowed as deduction while computing it as business income since it has been expended for purpose of business. Explain the claim of the firm. Now, let us understand that it is paying rent. Is that correct? Yes. It is paying rent of 60,000. But it is a normal business balance. Rent is allowed as a deduction. So, rent is 60,000 is being paid by the firm. No second thought about it. But what it is missing, it is failing to give explanation for the source of the rent. So, how the 60,000 is being paid? It is not being explained. Why? No proper records for rent is being found. So there is no proper records for the rent is being found. During the course of assessment of firm, it had paid rent in the respect of the business premises 60,000 which has not debited in the books of account for the year ending 31/3/18. The firm did not explain the source of payment of rent. The assessing officer proposes to make addition of 60,000. So the firm is not explaining the source of the rent. So therefore it is making addition of 60,000. The firm claims that even if the addition is made, 60,000 should be allowed as deduction. So why is it asking to allow it as a deduction? Because it is a normal business expense. So it has been expended for the purpose of business. Explain the claim of the firm. Is it correct? No. The claim of the firm for a deduction of 60,000 is not tenable. Why? It does not maintain proper records for 60,000. It is not able to explain the source for 60,000. So because it is a firm, it has to maintain proper books. It should be able to explain the source of funds for 60,000. Now, this action of the assessing officer making action of addition of 60,000 being the payment of rent is correct in law since the same is an unexplained expenditure. The proviso to section 69C states that such unexplained expenditure which is deemed to be the income of the assessee shall not be allowed as deduction. So, the 60,000 though it occurred to the firm, it is not able to explain it. So, the action of the assessing officer is correct. Why? This is in the nature of unexplained expenditure under section 69C. 69C speaks about unexplained expenditure and this is also unexplained expenditure. It is an expenditure, correct. But the source of the expenditure, the nature of the expenditure and the details of the expenditure should be given which is not available in this case. The proviso to 69C states that such unexplained expenditure which is deemed to be the income of the assessee shall not be allowed as deduction under any head of income. Therefore, claim is not tenable in nature.